All right. Welcome everybody to the Santino Brothers podcast. I'm here with Mongo Santino and Jezebel Romo here on this Friday night, and we're here with Famous B. We lost him for just a moment at the beginning of the call, but it looks like we got him back. So we're here with one of the Santino Brother originals. Famous
one of the OGs.
Yeah, one of the OGs. Famous B, how are you today? We might have lost him. But yeah.
Hey
Oh,
guys.
there he is.
No, I'm here. I'm just struggling with this connection, but I'm here. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. How are you doing, brother?
We might have lost. I don't know. We might have lost him
All
again.
right, man. I'm hanging in there, man. Everything's okay.
Delay.
Yeah,
Everything's okay. Everything's all right.
Nice. We have a little slight delay with our audio difficulty.
Right? Still learning the system.
Yeah, still learning the system. But yeah, Famous B.
I'm learning the system, man. You know, I'm learning the system. I'm trying to get it going.
Yeah, we're kind of losing them a little bit, right?
In and out.
All right. So, well, let's go ahead and get started. I'll start with asking my man a question. My main man, Famous B. Famous B started with us. Man,
in Norwalk.
In the backyard days. But I wanted to ask you. I wanted to say, hey, what got Famous B? What got Brian into professional wrestling? Not necessarily what brought you to the school, but what got you in professional wrestling? How long you been in a fan of it?
Oh, man, I've been a fan my entire life. You know, it was something that I was just always fascinated with. You know, it was something that, you know, when I was early child, like 3-4 years old, you know, I wasn't watching cartoons. You know, I was watching, you know, wrestling. You know, mainly because my dad was a huge fan of wrestling, and that's one of the memories that I have of him. Just, you know, going to visit, and you know, he had it on. I was hooked ever since. So, you know, I've always just been captivated by it, you know, ever since, you know, I remember things that happened, you know, on TV when I was like 2-3 years old. I'm like, man, this happened in 87. I was born in 85. You know what I mean? So it was just one of those things where it's just always been, you know, captivating to me. So, you know, that's pretty much, you know, I pretty much, you know, been watching it my entire life. So, you know, getting into the school, you know, which I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about a lot of it. You know, a lot of the things that I learned from you guys came second nature, because I'd already seen a lot of it before, you know, just subconsciously.
What promotion would you and your pop watch?
Oh, WWF, mainly WWF. I remember the first wrestler I saw was Hillbilly Jim on TV.
Really, Jim? Hey, so who is your father's favorite wrestler? You say your pops was watching wrestling. Who was his favorite?
Might have lost him right there.
Did we lose him a little bit? Yeah, maybe we did. Maybe we lost him. But that's interesting, right? He's watching wrestling, WWF. But if you can hear us, just jump in there, Famous B, and we'll just see.
Right. I can hear you guys.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hey, I wanted to say, hey, who's your dad's favorite wrestler?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not sure. You know, I lost my pops when I was 6 years old, you know, so you know, it wasn't one of those things that he sat me down and talked about. It's just one of those things I remember seeing, being around him. And you know, I was hooked on my own, you know, kind of deal. So I kind of just, you know, followed it on my own accord. But you know, I remember, you know, just, you know, being around and just watching them being into it. But, you know, I was too young to have those conversations with him to know, you know, who he idolized or, you know, was one of his favorites.
Well, how about you? Who's one of your favorites growing up watching wrestling?
Oh man, that's a great question. You know, it kind of evolved throughout the years, when I was young, 5, 6 years old, Hulk Hogan was the man, he was over like Rover, baby, so I was totally captivated by guys like him, Ultimate Warrior, larger than life characters. And then, as I got a little bit older and I started to notice it for the work rate, I became a fan of Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, guys like that. And then it just continued, as I got older, I understood a little bit more what the guys was doing in the ring and, the work rate aspect of it. And, I loved a lot of the cruiserweights and just enjoyed the moves and, the techniques, I guess you could say. So, like mid-90s cruiserweights, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, guys like that. And so, it's a long list, it's hard to narrow it down or have a Mount Rushmore per se. But, I'm a big fan of a lot of guys, and I have a lot of respect for everyone who's stepped in the ring, prior to myself, of course.
Yeah, well, speaking of you, right? So now, tell us what brought you to wrestling school, maybe more specifically Santino Brothers. How did you seek us out? Like, we were in the backyard at the time, right? Yeah, we were in the backyard at the time. So how did you find us?
Right, yeah, you guys were just getting your mojo going. I know I came like maybe a couple of months later. If I'm not mistaken, you guys had started in '07, at the end of '07, and I joined the class in March of 2008. So pretty much what happened was I got a flyer from you guys who was flyering outside of a WWE event at Staples Center. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Frank the Tank is the guy who flyered me. Frank the Tank recruited Famous V. So yeah, so I got a flyer, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was the Raw. I'm not sure which show it was, if it was a Raw or SmackDown, but I think it was the one where you had a dark match with Snitsky, Joey.
Okay.
I believe it was that one. I'm not 100% on that, but I know I was there for that, and I know I saw it, so I'm pretty sure it was that same show. But yeah, I got the flyer, man, and at the time I didn't know anything about pro wrestling school. I didn't really know anything about indies. I didn't really know that there was indie wrestling around me until after I started training with you guys. Until then it was just WWE, TNA, everything you see on mainstream TV. So when I got the flyer, I said, Wrestling Academy. I was like, wow, like I didn't even know you could go to school for it. So just me being a fan of pro wrestling and just loving wrestling, I didn't dismiss it. You know how like you go to the club or whatever and you leave and they're flying for the next party, you kind of toss it before you get to your car, something like that. Even though I was unaware of wrestling school, I kept it because I'm like, oh, it's wrestling, I'm gonna keep it. So yeah, as I kept it and just kind of had it lingering around the house, I just kind of gave it a thought, like more and more and more and more, until something just nudged me. I'm guessing it was my intuition just nudged me to give you a call.
Man, you say that you think it was that Snitsky. I remember that show, and I want to say right after that show, right? In order to get extra work, you had to wear a suit. And I had to go out and go buy a suit. So after the show, right, I had no other clothes. You put your suit back on, and I remember meeting Mongo and the guys outside to start. I just wrestled on Monday Night Raw. Now I'm out there passing out flyers on Figueroa, and
the rockstar life, right?
Yeah. So I guess that was the day that you got that flyer.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, man. That's who you are, man. That's one of the things I love and respect about you guys, the whole team. You, Sil, Mongol, everybody. It's just your heart, your dedication, your passion, And you know, that's one of the main things that you guys instilled in me is just the work rate. It's just always hustle, always bust your ass, move like a well-oiled machine, you know, work like a team. And you know, it just goes to show, like, you know, you're wrestling on the show, and you couldn't wait to get out there and promote the school. And you know, that's just, you know, one of the things I love about you the most.
I don't know if I couldn't wait, but I knew I had to do it. Yeah.
It's like the sooner the flyers get out, the sooner you can
Then we can go home.
Yeah, then we can go home.
Well, I'm just assuming, because I was a student. You never missed any flying dates, so I'm just assuming.
Yeah, that's the work ethic. So Famous B. So you got this flyer, that Frank the Tank recruited Famous B,
Yeah.
right? Walking back to his car after the show. And so you decided, hey, let me give it a call. So what was like your first day like? Like, what did you expect? What did you think?
What was your impression of Santino Brothers?
Oh man, you know what? I'm the type that I really, you know, try not to have a certain specific expectation. Just not knowing what to expect. Um, in the back of my mind, I was not thinking it was going to be as hard as it actually was. I was thinking that, you know, I would come down, you know, meet everybody, the rest of the students, you guys, of course, and you know, we would work out. I was thinking, like, you know, in the back of my head that it was going to be like meeting up with your buddies and going to 24-hour fitness or something like that, and kind of just, you know, just working out and stuff like that. But you know, when I got there, and it was, you know, well structured, and there was different drills and things of that nature. It was kind of like, you know, I was like, okay, it's go time, you know, kind of deal. Even though, you know, I had no idea what I was doing or anything like that. You know, I knew that that it was go time, and I knew that it was the real deal. And I've always been one of those type of guys all throughout, you know, my life that is pretty, you know, able to jump in, you know, well organized projects, and just kind of get in there and get in where I fit in, I should say, and kind of jump in and be a team player. So, you know, I got the hint right away, and you know, I gave it my best shot.
You know, you say you started in March of 2008. And I know that we had a show like January 17th, 2009.
The March one was the Luck of the Draw?
Correct.
No.
It was the very first one in Newhall.
That was, yeah. That was March of 2009, Mongol. That was our third show, I believe, that you're talking about, Luck of the Draw. Because we had Evolucha, which was the first one in January. And then we had the Valentine's Day show in February, and I believe March was Luck of the Draw.
So you started in March in 2008. We had the show in January 17th, the first Santino Brothers show, January 17th, 2009. So that tells me that you trained for less than a year, and then you debuted. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. And the funny part about it was, I actually missed a couple of months because, you know, my work situation was very rocky at the time. I had to make a lot of sacrifices to come and train and actually join the school. You know, at the time, I was actually an assistant manager for Shakey's Pizza.
Okay.
When I decided to give it a shot, I was an assistant manager, and I went to the general manager, which I was right under him, and I told him, I said, hey, so I'm gonna start going to school, and I'm gonna need some fluctuation on just Saturdays only, at least for now, in which he didn't grant me. But then he asked me, he said, "What are you going to school for?" I said, "For professional wrestling." And this was his exact quote. He said, "Don't you have to be big for that?"
Damn.
His exact quote, as he was telling me no, that I couldn't get Saturdays off. So between him already doubting me and questioning my size and telling me no, which I knew, like I know, because I schedule employees, so I know, that it was doable to, the flexibility. He just didn't want to do it for whatever reason. So I made the conscious decision to say, well, I'm gonna go regardless. So if I was you, I wouldn't put me on the schedule on these days, because this is what I want to do and I'm gonna do it. And and then right before, I think the week of that, my first day of training, they fired me. They let me go because of it. So my first day of training, I was newly unemployed, and I had rent bills. My son was just born; he was a newborn. It was December 2007. I had a lot going on. I had a lot against me. So I for like a couple of weeks before back in the job market, this and that. So I went to a couple of interviews, and actually just another restaurant. It was called Le Quotidien. It's a French bakery cafe kind of deal. And then that's when, after maybe 3 or 4 weeks of training, that's when I had to stop gunning, because I just got this new job. I was like, well, I need money, obviously keep the bills going and stuff like that. So I had to stop for like maybe 3 months. I think it was 3 months.
So you just completely stopped, huh? I think we lost him right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he just completely stopped. Did he start going on Tuesdays?
No, what happened was he stopped for a while, and this kid was so passionate and wanted to learn so much.
I think that was our first scholarship.
Yeah.
We gave.
That he actually,
Really?
we had a Wednesday open ring, and they had to be approved by you guys on being able to go, because we didn't train officially. Are you back?
Yeah, we just got him back.
So I remember he snuck in on the Wednesday trainings because he couldn't always make Saturday trainings until we found out. And we were like, hey, you can't be doing this because it's an invite only, but you excelled at it. So fuck it. I think you just kept doing it.
Yeah. I remember that. And I remember finding out very quickly not to do that again without permission. But yeah, it was tough, just those couple of weeks. Like, I already knew intuitively that it was something I wanted to do, and it was something that I was going to excel at. I already knew. But unfortunately, I had to work. So as I was working, on Saturdays, missing training week after week, I was miserable. There on the job, and it started to become noticeable. So noticeable that, it just didn't work out, after maybe 3 months. I was still on probation. I was just about to hit my 90-day mark with this before, it was, I wanted to get, I had done enough to know, and parted ways with them.
Kind of losing me right there.
And the day I
Go.
returned,
I think we got you back.
Maybe.
No, I think we actually lost him.
Am I back? Am I back, guys?
There we go. Yes. Okay. Yes, we were kind of losing you a little bit there, so we didn't get the last 30 seconds or so.
My apologies. I was saying that the day I returned after 3 months of training was the day that you guys put the students through the ringer. You know, it was kind of like the first test kind of deal. You know, after a couple of months. So that was the day that I actually returned.
Oh wow!
Nice day to come back.
Did we do that because you came back? We were.
Now is that what we really refer to as beatdown day?
Yeah, that's what we refer to as beatdown day, right? Right, Famous B?
That is absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. It was beatdown day. And that was the day I returned after like 3 months, man. So I was so excited and so happy to be back. I didn't even care if I was getting beat down. I didn't care. I was just happy to be there. You know, so you know, I was so pumped up and so motivated that like what was happening wasn't even like a factor to me. You know, just being there and knowing that, you know, there was nothing in my way or nothing stopping me from training, you know, for the foreseeable future was, you know, I was a man on a mission. And, you know, and you know, and I have the mentality that, you know, I want to be the best, you know, at everything I do. And I was just very focused.
So did anyone quit that day on beatdown day?
Jamie did.
Really?
Yeah. Lucha Machine was the first one to get in the ring. And after he was either tagged out or was eliminated, she stepped right off the apron and was like, "Yeah, I got a stomach ache. I think I'm gonna go in the house." Yes, so she was the only one, man. That
But then she came back, right?
Almost certain. I don't think that. I don't think that day.
No, yeah, not that day. Yeah, not that day. So you know what we started doing? Fast forward to we're in the school and you're already doing your thing. You're probably at Lucha Underground at this time. And so I would actually have a talk with the students, and I would go in and I would say, "All right, listen, gentlemen, today is going to be beatdown day, and beatdown day is not for everybody. And you know what? It's going to be tough, but it's going to show us your heart, your desire, your passion, your will, how bad you want to be in this business. But you know what? I get it. If it's not for you, that's okay. And we understand that. But it's going to be tough. And this ain't going to be easy. And if you want to get your face grilled and kicked in, then just go ahead and step on out right now. There's the door." So I gave him this big ass speech, right? Like, it's going to be tough. But our men are tougher. You know, pro wrestlers are tough. And I was preparing them for this beat. And I said, "There's the door," because I wanted to make a point. Like, hey, if you want to leave, there's the door before we even get started. And I said, I'm going to give you an option I didn't give the guys in the backyard. If you don't want to do this, you can leave right now, right? Because everyone in the backyard, they didn't have that option. No, it was Supreme BC Killer Mongo beatdown day, you know? All of a sudden,
we did not have that option.
No. So I tell these guys, there's the door right there. All of a sudden, like two dudes jump down the apron, grab their shit, and take off.
Not a word said.
And my jaw is dropped, but it's not because I'm holding my poker face. But man, my jaw is like dropped, like really. And then this guy came in with his partner, like me and Mongo went to wrestling school together. And then all of a sudden, Coach gives us this speech, and all of a sudden, I jump down, and Mongo would look, or the guy looked at his partner and says, "Where are you going?" Like, and he was like, "I'm out of here, bro. This ain't for me." And his homeboy stood. But I remember that day. I didn't think anyone was gonna jump down and leave. But better, I guess, that they did do that, right? Yeah. But yeah, you guys in the backyard didn't have that option to jump down and get out, right? I think absolutely. If anyone did, we were pissed, you know?
That class, we put them through the grinder. We would close the garage
door. Yeah. And
training, body heat. Have the heater on, I think.
No, you guys have those fucking hot ass construction lights.
There we go.
Ah, the good old days.
So do you remember those days when we put the construction lights and put you guys in the garage with the heater on?
Absolutely. You know, yes, absolutely, absolutely. I remember it all, man. I remember one of the days when you had Aaron Aguilera come down and guest train, and you know, just the drills that he knew, and you know, things that he had us doing, and you know, we're running around the neighborhood, you know,
Right.
miles, and you know, Rico's in his car, you know, driving 2 miles per hour, making sure nobody was cheating, kind of deal. And you know, but those were like, you know, I'm so happy that I was able to come as, you know, one of the well, in the first class, and be a part of that era, because it was an era where not only were you not allowed to take any shortcuts, you really had to earn it to make it, because you guys insisted that it be that way. You guys insisted on you know, the professionalism, you know, obviously, you know, then and now. But as far as like the toughness, the grit, the grind, you know, that was an era where, you know, you guys was learning from us being your first students, and obviously us as students was learning from, you know, you guys, and it kind of evolved from there. So, you know, we were learning from each other, but it's like all the things that you you know, maybe thought, you know, put into practice for us, you know, whether it's still the same structure now or not, it was one of those things where it was like, you know, it was a learning lesson for everybody. And, you know, you guys, you know, definitely, you know, made us, you know, strong, and, you know, definitely thankful to be in that era.
I think that, like, obviously, right, we're in a backyard, like we got something to prove, like we got something to prove. We're now backyard
Right.
wrestlers, you know. And yeah, that's why it was
We're
so tough. What was that?
Yeah, oh no, I was just saying, yeah, we were definitely grinding it out. You know, we had a lot to prove. You know, like speaking for myself as a student, you know, making it into the business was something, you know, obviously that I had to prove, you know, for myself, to myself. And, you know, making it as a school, you know, in general, was something that we all collectively, you know, was setting out to do. You know, just, you know, you know, it was fairly a new school, so it's like, you know, there's a lot of criticism coming from a lot of different people, a lot of different places, and, you know, then us starting in the backyard, you know, the oh, those guys are just backyarders, you know what I mean? Like, you know, they just beat people up, and, you know, they're not they're not pros. Nobody's going to get anywhere, kind of deal. You know, it's kind of like the buzz that was kind of going around, you know, here and there. And, you know, we all set out to prove everybody wrong. And I think looking back on it, we did a pretty good job, I might say.
Hell yeah.
Oh, you guys did a really great job.
Yeah, what did you think about like training in a backyard, right? I mean, did you think anything about it, right? Because I mean, I know going in as a trainer, like, oh yeah, we're not backyard wrestlers, but we are in a backyard.
Yeah.
You know, what did you think about the backyard training or being in a
Right.
backyard?
I, it made me know mine, because I'm smart enough to know, you know, from day one, that it was a well structured class, and that it wasn't just, you know, we weren't just going out there, you know, just going back there and just, you know, just kind of doing what we wanted when we wanted at whatever time we wanted, with no structure. And you know, you guys as trainers was moving like a well-oiled machine, and everything was, you know, timed, and, you know, it was one of those things where the setting was legit, because I'm, you know, cognizant of what's going on, you know, by what we're doing, you know, week after week, and, you know, the grind, and how tough it is, and how much I'm learning, and how quick I'm learning, and things like that. So the backyard never fazed me. I mean, we could still be in the backyard today, and school would be just as successful, as it is.
I totally agree with you. And I think you bring up like, right, the school, all they're doing over there is beating everybody up. The wrestlers, they're just backyard wrestlers. So it was like double whammy for the students. It was tough to kind of try to break out. For us, it was like, no, we are whipping their ass, but that's not just what we're doing. Yeah. We're teaching them.
It's the illusion of being your ass whipped.
It's like a total 180 today. What are we at? 13 years later?
Yeah.
It's a total 180 famous B. Like now I got people that come to training on a 1-day trial and then claim they've been trained by us because it holds so much prestige to come from Santino Brothers. And it's just refreshing to hear you talk about that, because it wasn't always so nice the way it is now, where you can, it's reputable as hell. Like, you know what I mean? Representing the whole West Coast. We were the little backyard wrestling company that could, with our little, right, quote unquote backyard wrestlers.
Yeah.
Just trying to get them booked. Just like couldn't get the guys booked to save our lives. You know what I mean?
Well, look at today. The guys would just go through a door, right? We open the door and there's a ring and stuff. When these guys got there, they had to clean up bottles, dog shit, put up a banner, raise the tent, and then start training. And then after done training, put down the tent, take down the banners, and clean up the backyard, because it wasn't our backyard.
And clean up more dog shit.
Yeah.
And clean up more dog shit,
Or step in dog shit and stop training because there's dog shit all over the ring and we have to clean the mats in the middle of training. Oh my gosh.
But you know what?
You guys are a special group.
No, through it all, and I love all our Santino alumni. I love all of our students, but that first group, the backyard group, I mean, there was something magical.
Yeah.
It wasn't, because it was like all of us had so much pride and all of us were putting in the work for it. And I mean, it was just like, I think a lot of the students knew that if they were out there doing something, you guys were going to be out there doing it. But it was just like the camaraderie, the family, it was magical. And it's like, it seems like we come close, but we can't get that first class back. You know what I mean? That that magic.
Right. Because there was a lot of them.
Yeah, everybody was at, right? Just, I think Big Famous Pete put it perfectly. You said that everybody was out to prove something.
Yeah.
Like specifically everybody that we are better than what you think we are, because the perception of Santino Brothers wasn't as good as it is today.
No, not at all.
No.
And it was just like the hard work of the whole first class. It wasn't just, the office or just the trainers. It took everybody.
I mean, because look at that first show of Evolution that we did. We drew 167 people that nobody knows of, and it was a team effort because everyone flyed and put in the work.
Yeah.
All of us had to contribute.
Yeah, man, we was out there. Yeah, it was out there a week, before the show, like maybe even longer, out there in Newhall, just, hitting up the town, man. Like, I think I know Newhall like the back of my hand. It's just the hard work and the dedication, that we mentioned, earlier, and just the passion, behind what we're doing, you know what I mean? And it was magical. It definitely was magical. It's hard to replicate. It's hard to duplicate. A lot of the things that we did at the time. One of the things that comes to mind right now is when we first got in the new dojo, and there was a picture. I believe I have it somewhere. I know I have it somewhere. There was a picture where all the champions put their belts on the ropes. Yes. And it just took up the entire ring. I had like 5 of them myself, just at once. But
I know
that picture. Yes, that picture where all of our belts are hanging up, right where we take the new class pictures. When the students first join, right there in that same spot, right in the, at the ring apron. Yeah, all of our belts are hanging up, and there was no space from ring post to ring post. And, it's just, man, very magical, like you said.
I remember that picture.
It was special because I think a lot of us had trophies.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of the student trophies there too, you know, and so we had trophies, and you guys had all the famous beat was our
Ultimo had all the belts.
Yeah, our Ultimo Dragon. He had all the belts. Let's talk about some of the success that you had in professional wrestling, Famous B. Specifically, how did you break into Lucha Underground? How did that work out for you?
Lucha Underground. Oh man, that was it was a pretty interesting ordeal. You know, that was a pretty interesting time. It was 2014. You know, it was a year. It was a year for me. 2014. I kind of felt like it's when I deemed myself laser focused, quote unquote. And that came from not having the best 2013. You know, everything I did from 2009 to 2012, like, you know, right up until like the beginning of 2013, I was hot, man. I was on fire. It was one of those things where I was just knocking it out the park left and right. And, you know, like anybody else, you know, you go through phases in life when life happens and, you know, things come up and, you know, the whole nine, where I felt like I didn't have the best 2013 that I would like to have had. And, you know, I had a tryout with WWE in 2012. And I won't say that it went bad, but I won't say that it went good either, because I didn't get a deal at that time. But just in reflection of that, I knew some of the things that I could have did better to stand out and present myself better. And I always told myself, because I knew exactly what I should do or could have did that I didn't do, in terms of just taking advantage of opportunities, when, you know, I was there, because it was my first time. I didn't know what to expect, the whole nine. So I was very like, just kind of reserved, more reserved than I should have been. You know, I didn't sell myself as well as I should have or could have. You know, on top of not having the best 2013 that I would have liked to. So 2014 was, it was kind of like, you know, my game face was back on. I was feeling like the 2009 Famous B kind of deal, where, you know, I was just ripping and running hard. And my ultimate goal was to get that opportunity to go back to get another tryout and capitalize on the mistakes I made the first time. So fast forward to August of 2014, I finally got that opportunity to do so. And, you know, I had a pretty good Monday and Tuesday at tryouts, let me say. It was very good. You know, it was very rewarding for me because I did all the things and I nailed all the details that I knew I should have did better. To the point where, you know, everybody in the company was very impressed. You know, I had guys like Dustin Rhodes coming up to me in the back, like shaking my hand, like, "Oh man, you did amazing today. You did great." Even Mark Carano, you know, after I got out the ring for my tryout match, he was like, "That was fucking awesome." You know what I mean? And it was just like, you know, I could just feel the reaction, you know, from the company. So on Tuesday after SmackDown tapings, Mark Henry called me over and he said, "We had 5 out of 5 guys evaluating you, and all 5 liked you. We just think you're a little too small." So he was like, you know, "Come back 20 pounds heavier, and you know, we can talk," kind of deal.
How did that make you feel, man? Did that sink your heart?
You know, I'm on cloud 9, like, okay, yeah, I could do that, no problem. Was redemption, like, at least for myself, because I, you know, like, I intuitively knew what I needed to do that I didn't do, so held it. That to me was my ultimate satisfaction, you know, first and foremost. And then obviously whatever comes after that is just a bonus. So it didn't sink my heart at all, because I was like, yeah, like, I did what I know I could do. So the same week is the week I got the word about Lucha Underground starting. And I got in touch with Krista Joseph, because I was put in touch with him by B-Boy, actually referred me. So I got in touch with the Joseph on Thursday. And on Thursday, I'm getting the call to come in and audition for Lucha Underground. So I go in and I meet with the Joseph on Friday that same week. And they gave me a script of 2 different characters. One never emerged on the show whatsoever, and the other one was for a spot in the crew, which eventually did emerge on the show. So, the script wasn't terribly long. It was like half a page for each character kind of deal. So I sat there for about maybe 15-20 minutes before they called me in. And they had me deliver, both characters. And then they said, well, do it in As Famous B kind of deal. You know what I mean? After I did, each of the characters. And and as I'm cutting these promos and just nailing it, I could see the look in their faces. They're like, yeah, like, he sat up, they're leaning forward, they're smiling, they're shaking their head. Yes, like, I was nailing it. So I knew they were loving me. So, about an hour later, I got the call if they wanted to hire me kind of deal. And, I kind of had that dilemma in the back of my head. I'm like, okay, well, 20 pounds and wait for the next time I might get another look, or go with the sure bet now. And, and it was one of those things where I was like, yeah, let me go with the sure bet now kind of deal, because
So they even had you. I remember you wrestled. I remember them advertising for it. They were wrestling some guy named Pentagon, right? Pentagon Zero or Pentagon Junior. I think that was how they were. That's what his name was at the time, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember they were doing that, and I remember being so excited. Like, man, that guy's like that's like their star over there, and they got Famous B wrestling them, and they even had it on the advertisement. So you kind of you got the job at Lucha Underground, but you didn't really spread your wings or spread or run full speed until you started doing the manager gimmick, huh? How did that come about?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. What happened was they wanted me to play this character, which was one of the characters that I actually auditioned for, that they never ended up writing in the script at all. It was a character that was supposed to be, one of the original characters in season 1 that never came to fruition. So as I'm kind of like just idly waiting, to do this character, that never came to play. They just used me as Famous B as my normal indie gimmick, pretty much to do jobs and kind of put some of the talent that they were establishing over, while they figure out what's happening with this gimmick, if they're going to do it or not. So, it was a safe bet to say by the end of season 1 that they just weren't going to do this character. But since, I'd already come out on episodes as my as Famous B, as myself, that's when the Joseph got the idea for the 4-2-3 get fame gimmick. And pretty much what he said was, he was like, yeah, I see you as like this like used car salesman, is how he put it. And pretty much being a mouthpiece mouthpiece, for a lot of the guys who couldn't really, get over on the mic as much as they'd like, because, they were using a lot of guys who, obviously from AAA, come from Mexico, that, isn't really used to, cutting, lengthy promos to sell, the American shows. So, yeah, Joseph came up with the concept, and, in the beginning, I was a little hesitant about it because, obviously I knew being in that role, being in that position would, take me out the ring a lot more, which was not something that I had in mind of my own at, in that moment at that time. But, also at the same time, it's, you figure, you're at the end of the day, you're an employee, and, you gotta, do what your boss wants you to do, kind of deal. So it's kind of like one of those things where, I learned to love it, because I looked at all the positives that could come out from it, which there was a lot of positives. And, I just focused on the optimism of those aspects, and, I took it and ran with it, and I think I made the character a lot better than I envisioned.
I always say like a promo, I always say a promo is a match, right? And sometimes when guys are on a show and, Mongo's got a match, Jezebel's got a match, Famous Speed's got a match, and I got a promo, I feel a little left out. And I always would. And then so I always started preaching to the students, like, you may feel left out, but if you're cutting a promo, like, people get to know you a lot more than they're going to know Mongo in his 5-minute match or Jezebel in her 5-minute match. And you can go out there and speak for 3 minutes and get so much over, get so much personality out there. And I always like to preach that promo is a match. Right. And so how did you like that transition? I know you said you didn't want to do it. But what did you think about that transition when they, I thought you looked cool, man. You had that cool ass white suit, and then it even evolved, and you had the cowboy hat. You kind of reminded me of Cal Worthington. Yeah, and they even gave you a phone number, 423 Fame, right? Yeah.
That's correct. It's actually still active. 423 get Fame. It's actually still active.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was gonna say it's a real phone number. Now you're telling me it's still active and going. Call it, Mongo. Come on, call it, Mongo. Oh man.
Come on, Mongo. Go ahead. Just dial that number. 423 get Fame.
Yeah. I so love that they had you out with Dr. Wagner. And then I'd always see you on television, right? So if you had a match, you might be on once a month, but here now you started being on a lot of the different episodes, and really started really getting you over and just really giving you a good opportunity. And I know it's tough sometimes when you want to wrestle. So what did you think about that? Like, I know you still wanted to wrestle, but you were doing the manager thing, Right,
absolutely. Yeah. It was, at first it was a challenging transition, just for all the, obvious reasons that you just stated. But, once again, I looked at the positives. I thought about the fact that I'm on this show that is, getting a lot of buzz, and, it's the, kind of we're the cool kids in town, at the time kind of deal. And I'm still Famous B. I'm still original to myself, to the name that I gave myself, in the backyard kind of deal, and it was one of those things where it's like, wow, like, look how far, I've been able to take, Famous B, and I'm still able to be myself, on a national platform. So, and I didn't have to go on TV and play a different character or become something or somebody that I wasn't, which led to a lot of the magic of the things I did with characters, because I was myself. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have to get used to being a different persona with a different attitude, with different mannerisms. It was like, no, like I was basically allowed to be myself, turned up a notch. And, I learned a lot about myself transitioning into that role because of the fact that, I was talking a lot more where, as before, I was strictly known for my work rate. And, I didn't really get, the opportunity, I guess you could say, to shine, as a mouthpiece for whatever reason. And, like I had no doubt that I could do it, but the things that I was able to do and come up with, and what a lot of people know me for now, I wasn't aware until I actually did it, and then start having fun with the character, and really just like saying, okay, yeah, like not only can I work, everybody knows that already, but I can talk, I can be entertaining, I can be funny, I can ring announce. It was one of those things where it took me and it transitioned me to, I like to call myself a renaissance man of the pro wrestling business, because there's nothing in the business I can't do. There's no aspect of the business that I can't do. And I was able to prove that in this role.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, it really just builds this whole range. And I was going to mention that, right? So many people went to Lucha Underground, right? Like even Thunder Rosa and Jeff Cobb, and they all changed their character, even put full-on mask on, everything, changed name. And here's 4T3 Fame with his own phone number from the little Santino Bros.
Still active.
I love that message he leaves. He's like, I ain't calling you back. It was pretty cool.
Man, we're coming down to the end, Famous B. And man, time flies when you're having a great time. And we really just touched on a little bit of training in Lucha Underground. We didn't even talk about you as a trainer at Santino Brothers, having a hand in training Brody King. So I definitely want to get you back on so we could talk about that, because I love Famous B. There's so much always to talk about.
Yes, we need a part 2.
But I know Mongo does have a question for you. I also have a question for you, and then I don't know if Jezebel does, but I know we want to make sure to get these in. But Mongo, what is your question you got for Famous B?
B, we got a couple young Santino Brothers students that are challenging the Mongol at Street Fighter. So I just want to, tell them what they're getting themselves into. Oh,
don't do it.
For hours and hours, and then he finally beat me. And it's coming to that point, B, I need some help over here.
We should totally get a Twitch stream going. Santino Brothers Street Fighter tournament.
We have to, man. I'll go on there, and I guarantee the live donations will go.
Yeah, you're right. I'm legitimately thinking about it. Right, I got my game. I got my new game came out, Hitman 3. I'm not a gamer. Sylvia got me a system 2 years ago, and I'm like stuck on. I'm like stuck on Stu. I'm still on the first game. I got other games, but anyways, I was thinking about getting. We have our Twitch channel. Thinking about getting a Street Fighter 2 Santino Brothers tournament. Who would be your character, Famous B?
Oh, man, I would go with Ken. I would go either Ken or Saget. It's a toss up. Maybe Saget. I'm gonna change that. I would say Saget first, Ken second.
Against Mongo. Who's Mongo? Who does Mongo play as?
E Honda only, strictly. He doesn't pick anybody else. He just plays with E Honda, and it's like a cheat. It's not even.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I don't know if I was ever really good at Street Fighter. I could do like the Hadouken, the helicopter kick from Ryu, but and then maybe the Blanca, he would do a fireball or something like that. Yeah, but other than that, man, I didn't win no matches. I didn't even challenge Mongo. I wasn't even going to go there.
Oh man, you would probably have to train as hard as we did year one with you guys uh, to get close to beating this guy.
Yeah, hey, we got some Santino brothers that are like, we're players. And Adnan is saying, he's saying, bring it right now. Bring on all challengers. I think there's no reason we shouldn't have this Twitch stream going. Yeah. Get it going.
Even in defeat, it's still fun. It's good times with your boys, your friends, in my case, my mentor, so even in defeat, it's still fun, because it's all about the camaraderie at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. We didn't even get a chance, and I totally want to bring you back in, and maybe we'll bring them back. We'll bring you into the studio, into the office, for a second go around, because we didn't even get a chance to talk about. I'm wearing the shirt today, Supreme. You and Supreme always doing the fantasy football, picks and stuff like that. But yeah, I want to dedicate a good amount of time to that, because I know that you guys were doing that for a good while.
Right, absolutely.
But
no, absolutely.
I do have a question for you, Famous B. So this is what I ask everybody, or at least I try. I might have forgotten a couple of people, but I said, okay, so now imagine a world, right? Imagine, we always say this phrase, in a perfect world, right? So now we're in COVID, and I'm going to say, in a perfect world, COVID vaccines are rolling out, and COVID is, the pandemic is gone, and everything opens up. What's the first thing you're going to do?
I'm headed to Florida. That's the first thing. I'm headed to Florida because I can't lose in Florida. That would be the first thing, and a distant second, if necessary, which I doubt, but if necessary, I wouldn't mind going to hang out in Australia for a little bit, and work with a lot of the younger talent over there, and maybe starting something up like how you did, Joey, over in Australia.
Yeah, I'm right. So we closed the building down. I've been actually working with some realtors, and we've been looking at some buildings, and 100%. I see myself getting the building back up. I don't know if we'll be able to open up publicly for training, but I know that me and you will be able to get in there, and right, as the trainers and stuff, as the alumni, to get in there, because we can't be taking 10 months off and then get in there with the students. We got to be better than them,
Yeah.
So I always thought about, hey, we would all get in there as the alumni and just start training for about a full month before we said we're going to even think about opening a school. So I want to do that.
Take it back old school, right?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I'd love to see and roll around with Famous B again. I mean, it's got to be been some years. And this COVID has got me thinking, like I've been saying for years, probably since you started 13 years ago, right? That, was it 12 years ago? I've been saying, like, I'm done. I'm finished. I'm retired. This COVID made me go like, man, I want to wrestle. I don't know if I necessarily want to wrestle in front of people. I just want to wrestle. I want to get in the ring, but it leads to wanting to wrestle leads to wrestling in front of at shows in front with people. So I totally would love to get in the ring with you and get you on track, and let's get you down to Florida, and let's start thinking about it, because I think it's going to start opening sooner than later. I don't know. I'm hoping. Maybe I'm just being optimistic.
It's okay to be optimistic.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right, no, absolutely. I would love nothing more than that. Like, I miss being in the ring so much. It's obviously opportunities are so few and far in between now, and it's not like it was before. But I mean, it's also one of those things where, who could have predicted this? You know what I mean? It kind of just put the kibosh on, like everybody, in some way, shape, or form, no matter who you are, this thing has definitely affected, everybody. As far as me personally, yeah, man, like, definitely miss being in the ring. And yeah, I can't wait to get back in the ring and just pretty much knock out the little kinks, the little rust. But I know myself, and I know my work ethic, and I know my drive, and I know that's not going to take me no time.
Yeah, hell yeah. So I really appreciate you being on. Is they make sure to follow Famous B on Twitter, FamousB23, or Instagram, FamousB_23. Is there anything that you want to plug or anything that you want to end on? Anything you want to tell some of the viewers and let them know before we end it, Famous B?
Well, that I love everybody. You know, I miss the boys. You know, I miss doing just shows in general. Ripping and running, and up and down the road. Just being backstage with a lot of the guys, like on a consistent basis, and then just pretty much, all that coming to a halt. It's just one of those things where it's tough to get used to, kind of deal. So I definitely miss that. I miss the fans. I miss everybody singing my theme song when I come out. Performing, and yeah, man, and but everything happens for a reason, and I'm wise enough to know that this is just a phase energetically, that just like it started, it's going to phase out. And once it does, it's going to be that much sweeter and that much better when we can do our thing again and get back used to doing the things that we were, accustomed to, and way more. Because this definitely, I feel like, has, in some way, shape, or form, humbled a lot of people in the sense of, just taking things for granted. At least it has for myself. I can't speak for everybody, but at least it has for myself. So, those are a lot of the things that I consider, during these times. I don't look at it as a negative as much as I have to be negative about. I like to find the good in everything, and those are my takeaways as of right now. So those are the things that I'm looking forward to. And you guys can all check out my latest project on Crackle, where I did commentary for Heroes of Lucha Libre. That's streaming on Crackle right now. And that just dropped on Thanksgiving a couple months ago. So you can go to Crackle and check your boy out. Do commentary for the very first time for an entire season of the show. And you guys can all hit me up and let me know what you think of that. And it's just another evolution of just one of the things that I could do, that I mentioned earlier in the business. But I look forward to getting back in the swing of things and doing a lot more, everything at once. You know what I mean? Just doing everything at once, and really just just getting back to being the man that I was born to be, and working the business that I love, that I have the greatest amount of passion for. And definitely thank you guys, for showing me the ropes, teaching me the ropes, and being the great leaders and mentors that you were and continue to be today. Because if it wasn't for that, there would be no Famous B. So I definitely love and respect and appreciate you guys. And I'm just grateful for all the things that I've been able to accomplish so far. And I look forward to all the things that I will accomplish in the future.
Absolutely. We love you, Famous B. Just make sure to keep a positive mental attitude, right? There is light at the end of the tunnel, and we will rise above after the COVID pandemic and continue doing what we need to do. So thank you, Famous B, for tuning in. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Famous B, for coming on the show today. I love you, brother. I love you, brother, with all my heart, man. And so I can't wait to get back in the ring and get everything back on track, brother.
Love you, Miss
Love you, B.
I love you too, boss man. Thank you for having me. All right, guys. Love you guys too, man. Thank you guys for having me. I'll be back soon.
Hell yeah.
All right, you take care.